Yes, everybody, Jody, has to avoid the digital ID. There's two different types, okay? There's the quantum financial system and then the CBDCs, okay? The CBDCs will not give you a biometric reading on your account. They're just going to say, if you join us here doing this or what, everything, and that'll be, some of the banks will be doing that. And this might be a test, okay? This will be a test to see, it's an IQ test to see if you're awake or not awake. But what I'm saying right now is that in order for you to be authenticated with the proper account, it has to be biometrically done through fingerprint and your heart frequency, your eye retina, whatever's happening. All that has to be done that way because it's going to be just you, and your QFS account, and of course God. Okay. That's basically who's going to be operating in your phone. People have a hard time getting their head around it, but we're already in a digital age. I believe that the CBDCs won't even get off the ground. So when they go out and they advertise things and they say things and it gets everybody asking questions about it, I would just ignore it. Okay. Yeah, Gavin Newsom is long gone. Yeah, actually, they probably got, and that's we have to, wake up to this too, family. That there's reptilians running around everywhere right now, and they're hard to catch. They're hard to catch. They look like humans. They're being made up to look like this particular person of influence or whoever, and they're hard to catch. They're not, and we're going to find out about all this. And he could be playing by Matthew McConaughey, yes. But, who knows who's in control right now, right? We only know what we know. We're only getting fed 10% of actually what's happening out there. And that's the problem. Trader Girl Q is another person both coming up and with December 2nd and she says that with the December 2nd for the RV in Iraq. That's great. Thank you very much, Bob, for that news. I was listening to her, but like it says, I wasn't focused. Yes, you're right, Timothy. We got to get Mr. C in the driver's seat. Yes, there's a lot of people excited for the RV, and trust me, Michelle, it is happening. I'm not going to, like I says, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. This stuff is something that, 10 years ago, I was only doing whispers, and people were looking at me like I had a third eye. But I know damn well through the times there, and the amount of people and patriots that are involved in it now. This is inevitable. It's going to happen. Welcome, Alabama. Hi, Wendy. Yeah, Mr. C is. You can catch Mr. C. He comes on from time to time on Mark Z, the original Mark Z, on YouTube or Rumble. Israel is a victim. Yes, the Israeli people are a victim. They shouldn't. We're going to find out how they're going to play this out. But when the commander says he's leaving Israel to last, he's basically saying we're leaving these Khazarian masquerading as Israelis for last. Okay, they're a bunch of pedophiles and satanic Satanists, and a lot of them fled. Basically fled back into eastern Ukraine as where they originated. Okay, and if you wanted me to get into that story, I could, but I believe in foremost. I could do a quick one. It was basically after the Second World War. The Hitler's inner circle. They faked his death in that casket, and then they fled to Argentina and built a Bavarian city way up in the Alps in there where nobody knew that they were there, and they basically, it was quite a few of them. He needed a bit of an army of his closest basic, loyalists okay, with him. But then eventually they got sick of what was going on there. And, basically he was just an aging elder at that point. And they broke off there from that Bavarian city and fled to Antarctica. Now, the other ones, which were the SS, okay, that was Hitler's secret service, okay, they were left behind to be killed by the Russian American troops. And what they did was they tore off their uniforms. They got wise to this because they knew that they were being headhunted by the Allies, and they tore off their clothes and got on some old clothes and whatever and fled with the civilians into Ukraine, and that's where they went into hiding. And they went into hiding, and of course they were simulating and resonating with the Khazars that were there, because the Khazars were basically the Russians' arch enemies for 700-800 years. They were always battling each other. The Ruskies and the Khazars were always battling. Their wars were going on, and by having the SS going in there, basically we're shoring up the Khazars' military power. But they were doing everything covertly. They could not let anybody know that they were ex-SS Nazis. Okay, so what they did was they said they started intermingling over decades and doing all this thing very, very quietly, still being farmers, whatever they were doing, but they were cohabitating and doing these underground meetings at night and planning to attack and take over Ukraine at that one time. And in 1990, with all this separation going on and Russia was weak, that's when they made their move. And of course, it went on from there. But they were not called, they couldn't call them to the world Nazis, so they called them Azovs. And that's the army that basically come out of the ground and started invading and attacking and genociding the Ukrainian people, and using the beautiful women there and all this other stuff and the children for trafficking. And that's where they were making their money. That's what they were doing. And that's Trump, and basically Putin said, and of course they were aligning themselves with the NATO, which were also Satanists, and they were pushing missiles in and pointing them into Russia, ready to annihilate Russia and all the people there, the good people there. And Putin said, no, we've had enough of this bullshit. And that's when they went in and invaded them. And they had to. They had to and then Putin said it himself. We have to go in there and denazify Ukraine. And that's what they did. And it was very, very apparent. It's very, very, this is all public news. And anybody that, knows a Ukrainian, if you know a Ukrainian, tell him to take off his shirt and see if he's got any Nazi tattoos on him. That's all you have to do. And it's very, very apparent. They all carried tattoos, for what they believed in, their order, whatever it was. Hey, Richard. Excuse me. Hey, Buck. Susan. Yeah, it's, my mom has dementia. She will be in a med bed. Yeah. Yes, she will get into a med bed. And, dementia, start feeding her honey. Start feeding her, what do you call it? Organic honey. Pure organic honey. For dementia. Watch what happens. There's some kind of an enzyme in the honey. You can take it with tea or whatever. But you can make like the Shilajit, the original Shilajit, in the small bottles that you see. It's got it's a black tar. Okay. And you put that little bit on, not too much, just maybe like a, I don't know what you want to call it, even just a little bit, a pinch into the boiling water for your cup, and then put the honey in there and drink that, and drink lots of it, because you can't overdose on that stuff. Okay, and you see what happens with her dementia. Yeah. Hey, welcome, Josh, Vancouver. Yes, we're all soul family. You bet. I heard that they are Polish and Russian. These Khazars. Yes, there's some Russian, some Ukrainian, some German, some Polish, but they basically they're in a I don't know what you want to call it. You want to call it a cult? Yeah, but they do traffic. They do traffic humans, Tiffany. But there's a whole congregation of them, and that was concerning Putin to a point where he had to make a move. And it was really easy for them to distinguish. Basically, when they had surrendered, the Ukrainians were surrendering by the thousands, and all they had to do was take off their shirts, and they could see all the paraphernalia. And the ones that had the ones that had NAZI paraphernalia tattoos on them were sent to another, probably to Siberia. Yes, honey and cinnamon. And like I said, it's really, you have to have the pure liquid honey. Okay, that's the pure liquid honey, and it'll say organic on it. I buy these bottles in the Philippines. It's amazing. It's really good honey. It's pure. It comes right off the, off their honey farms. And it's a bottle of, like, it's a 26er, okay? And I pay $4 for it. That's what I pay. It's about 228 pesos for that bottle. And they even ship it to you. Like, they'll have a delivery. Like, we can... If we didn't have to, if we didn't have a market right next door, we could just sit at home and just order everything in. Because that's what they do. The Philippines is amazing on their deliveries. And you find something, or you could sit there and go on your phone and look for something. You say, "Oh yeah, looks pretty cool," and then you get it, and it might be brokered or damaged. You just send it back, and then of course they'll get another one. So it's their mechanism and their system is pretty cool. Yep. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, I mean, we're all here to help each other, right? I mean, we don't want to. We're no part of the dark culture that's out there, the dark negative culture out there. They're going to have be put into their dying cities. We're not going to we're not going to have to cohabitate with them. They're not even going to have the right to be on our in our chats, and of course our the phones that we get, they will not get. Okay, so they're going to probably stay in the old Microsoft system, and we're going to be in the new Starlink system. So, it'll only be for the positives that are out there. And yes, of course, it's going to take time to, separate the milk from the butter, or whatever you want to call it. But, but that's part of the, you can see where this is all going. It's getting better and better every day. Before even Trump was elected, I knew something. When these phones were coming out, we actually had the old-fashioned phones out there that weren't the flip phone. They just kind of crossed over, and then of course they said they were smartphones. I could not, it was very frustrating because I was always getting canceled out and shit taken off my sites, and I knew quite a bit what was going on there, and I just wanted to get the right information out there. But now it's becoming quite easy. I only have just a few crazies on this now. Enrico, greetings from California, sending love to all the family. Welcome, brother. Make sure to use plastic or wood for the honey. Yeah, no metal. Yes, that's a very good point, Pamela. Plastic, there are wooden spoons that you can get, they're so easy to get, right? And just use that wood, which I do all the time, for all your honey. And you can get the little plastic or little wooden spoons in the grocery store, and just use that to put it on, and just eat it. You can eat it with nice, bread. And that's another thing. They have, the bread, everything in North America, they've been stripped, all the, nutrients have been stripped out of it. But there is, places you really got to watch, with the bread content now. Now, what I would do when making bread is, I know it sounds like a bunch of hassle, but if you like bread and want to lose weight, there are grains that you can go to, like the bulk barn or whatever, and buy the grain that has not been, what do you call it, pasteurized or whatever they, all the minerals taken out of it. And basically what you can do is just stone grind it, right? Which is just basically a stone bowl, and then just grind it up like that there, and it will grind up to a powder, and then you can put that in for your bread. Okay, there's lots of ways to doing this to get the us eating, because I know there's a lot of bread lovers out there. You just have to go about it a different way. Do not buy the stuff off the shelf in the big box stores. There is some little bakeries that will use but you got to ask them. Okay, and like the reason why I brought that up is because down in the Philippines they do have those choices to go to.